Are we recording? Yes, we are. Okay. So welcome to our October 7th Team Dignity call. So last time we talked about 2B mindset and kind of like what that nutrition plan was. And yes, I talked for 30 minutes about that if you didn't catch the recording. I did. So I think you should check it out because it's good to know what two types of nutrition plans Beachbody offers. And this time we're going to talk about the container system. And then at the end, we're going to just kind of like hit some high levels of pros and cons between the two. And then I kind of wanted to share with you a little bit just how I follow my meal plan because I actually kind of combined the two. I like subconsciously didn't realize that till I was putting this presentation together and like thinking about what I was going to talk about. And I'm like, I actually, do both. Like I do both of them. So I don't actually follow one or the other. I actually follow both. Who knew? So first is our recognition, which Tyler, I knew this before you joined the call, but I didn't include you on here, so that was my fault. I'll make sure I fix that for next time. Just for sake of repeating, since Tyler's kind of new to this, every week I count how many times you participate. So how many times like you were active within tell me what workout you did. If it was a rest day, tell me that too. Like how your nutrition was that day. So for this week, which Tyler, you'd be in the top 7 with us too, with Kristen and I. But it's Kristen and I in the lead so far this week. And then Amber Bumbarger, Amber Zimmerman are down there with 4, which they both are going to catch up either this evening, I haven't actually checked, or tomorrow morning because I reached out to them just to see how they were. And then actually Courtney, Brooke, and Sherry got on the board this week and participated some, which is great. So I gave them some extra praise to continue that because I like seeing everybody participate. And besides, if you get high points, you get cool prizes. So that's always fun. So that is our weekly recognition I like to do for everybody. And then I decided that this week there's a lot of new things happening with Beachbody. They're coming out with some new stuff. They actually had a team leadership. You have to be a diamond coach, which it's not complicated, but I could do a whole call about that, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. That's me going off on a tangent. We're talking about nutrition. Anyways, a lot of our top coaches within the company went to this leadership event, and some of the new things that are coming in the spring are the Energize and the lemon flavor. It's going to be coming in a little individual stick packet. So I think that would be freaking awesome for on the go. If you need to take some with you as an extra little pick me up or whatever, you can actually buy the stick packets instead of buying the individual ones that are kind of big and bulky. These would be kind of cool. And then also they're going to be having fruit punch Energize, which everybody that was at the leadership event this week was all in a hype about that. It's amazing. They really, really liked it. They liked it way better than the lemon because obviously it tastes like fruit punch. So if you like fruit punch, you may like that. If you don't like fruit punch, you're going to hate it. So those 2 things are going to be coming in the spring. And then also, which is just kind of funny because we're going to be talking about portion containers. Autumn Calabrese is in the spring coming out with an ultimate portion fix. So it's going to be following the containers, but she's revamped it a little bit. So I don't have a whole bunch of details on it yet. They're kind of limited in what they were telling us, but she's going to have a new volume of the Fixate cookbook that will be available on Beachbody On Demand, but it'll probably be everything else where if you want it early, you have to pay an early bird special fee of $25 or something like that. Then eventually it'll come out to everybody, but I'm not sure. I'm just guessing that. But it'll be volume 2 with 120 new recipes. So that's pretty exciting to give us some new stuff to try. And she's pushing it to be kid friendly as well. So it had listed there that there was 75 recipes for kids with between breakfast, lunch, dinners, and snacks. So I thought that was kind of cool that they're starting to gear stuff more towards children as well. Because I don't know if you guys know, but they also have workouts too to do with your kids and stuff too on Beachbody, which is kind of neat. Shift Shop. I know Tyler's doing Shift Shop, but there's the new program that Chris Downing's coming out with that's Proving Grounds. It's kind of the same thing, but it's more focused on really pushing your body and kind of doing this max out type thing, which is kind of what Insanity does, but it's not supposed to be as insane as Insanity. I know I told some people that and they're like, oh my gosh, Insanity almost killed me. Yeah, Shaun T likes to try to kill you. If you haven't done one of his workouts, they're pretty tough. But they're fun, and they're usually a good sweat within a short period of time. But So that's kind of what Chris Downing is going to be doing with Proving Grounds, like trying to like really get your heart rate up in a shorter period of time. That is supposed to be coming out next month, but I know Chris is really big on talking about that. I was actually on a call last Monday where he was on the call and he talked about it and what all it was about. So they're big on like just trying to like promote that right at the moment. If you haven't noticed, on October 1st, everybody should have Lift 4 on Beachbody On Demand, because that was all within like the early bird special stuff. But on October 1st, actually launched to all the Beachbody accounts. So if that's something you're thinking or looking about doing, that should be available to you now. If not, I mean, let me know. But it should definitely be there for you all. Those that know and love Autumn Calabrese, which I absolutely love her because she was where it all started for me with 21 Day Fix. But she did 80 Day Obsession, which she has an 80-day program. And like literally, I think everybody that did it pretty much loved it. So she decided to do another program based off of the same type of workouts that's called A Little More Obsessed. And the early bird special for that's supposed to kick out November 30th, and then it'll be available in all Beachbody accounts in January. So just some stuff that you know is going to be up and coming. Figured it'd be good to kind of share that with everyone. Oh, and one I didn't put on here was, I don't think we have any vegans on our team, but if we do, Beach Bars are going to be coming in vegan too in the spring. Right now they're not, which I guess I don't think I knew that. I don't know how they are not vegan, I guess. I need to look at that a little more, but that's something they're going to be launching as new Beach Bars that are completely vegan. So for any vegans out there. Just mentioning again the Super Saturday event. So that Sunday, the 21st, I'll be sharing every little bit of details that I got from that event. So that is what the call on the 20th will be about, just so you're aware. So yeah, last time we talked about 2B Mindset. So Tyler, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the call, but I know you and I talked heavily about 2B Mindset in the beginning. But if either you guys have any questions, you can ask them now. To any of those that are catching the recording, if you have any questions about 2B Mindset in of itself, don't be afraid to shoot me a message or like message the group too, because maybe somebody else picked up on something and would like to share it as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to start. If anybody had any questions on 2B Mindset, or is it kind of, did I bore you enough with it last time? If not, that's cool too. Okay, so what's next? Container system. So yeah, the container system is exactly what it says it is. You use containers to measure out all your food. This little chart here, I'm going to share on in our team page, just because I know people like whenever you sign up for it, like you get them, but you only get one set of these. Like you only get like one green and one purple and one red, and I mean you get 2 oranges, but that's it. You only get one. So you have to wash them all the time, or you're like, how am I supposed to measure my food, right? So I figured the conversion chart is something that's good to know and good to have. So like as I'm showing you the meal plans, like anything that's those colors there, that's what they correspond to. Then the containers, which greens, vegetable, purples are fruit, but then it gives you there like what the measurements actually are. So if you just have measuring cups, or if you even have a scale, you can like measure out your food then that way instead of always having to worry about washing them. Because I did have one person this week message me and they're like, one of mine fell on the bottom of the dishwasher and got melted. Because like the little heating element melted theirs, and she like freaked out. So showed her the conversion chart and she was happy, but it kind of made it. I kind of chuckled, and I even told her I laughed at her too, which she'll probably kill me for saying this on here. But I'm not going to mention her name, but I laughed at her when she told me, but she was like, I don't know what to do now. Like, I'm lost. Well, having the conversion chart helps you. So yeah, there's all of these containers that are what make up like your food. So I'm going to actually go in and like show you a couple of the meal plans and stuff, but as it shows on here, like everything is mapped out for you. Like it's telling you how much vegetables you're supposed to have each day, how much fruit you're supposed to have each day, how much protein, how much starches and carbs, how much are going to be like your healthy fats, which are your blues, this little guy here, which is like any of your hummus or peanuts or pistachios, cashews, any cheese, anything like that would be this container. And then I don't have my other yellow. I misplaced it, which honest, my kids probably have it in their toy box. But that's like your salad dressing would be one of them. And then like olives they have on here, but then usually like seeds. So I'm like always big on like putting seeds on my salad. So that's what like those entail and what they tell you. And then they're also factoring in there any accessories, which are going to be taking the place of your teaspoon. So within each meal plan, everybody gets a set amount of teaspoons you get to have, which can be any of your cooking oils, or if you decide to use any like nut butters. So through this, they're completely eliminating like a big one that sticks out in my mind here is butter out of your diet, like no butter with the container system, like none at all. She doesn't leave like any room for that, like 2B Mindset does. So let's see if this gives me a fit. Let's go. And it hides everything from me. Where did it go? Look at it. I just want this. Fine, don't do it. I wouldn't do it either. It's right there. Okay. I'm tired. Sorry. It's right here. What I wanted to show you. So I'm going to pull up, let's just show 21-day fix because I know it's like a basic one they usually try to get everyone to start with. So y'all know how to navigate through Beachbody On Demand. If not, I do have another video on that, but we're not going to waste a whole lot of time with that. So within here, let's get to it. It shows you, we're going to start from the beginning and walk through it kind of here. Yeah, Autumn's tiny. Okay. So with the container system, which all of the Beachbody workouts have this component of it, just then 2B kind of like sits on the sidelines, and if you want to use that, so that it's not going to actually like say anything about 2B in any of the workouts. So just so you're aware, it's all going to be pushed towards the container system. So excuse me, I'm sure this calculation looks familiar to some of you that have actually followed the container system or looked at them. Every one of them have this formula here at the top at the beginning, which I'm going to get a little bit bigger. Ooh. So of course it's taking like your current weight, and then it's getting you your baseline, and then it's taking your baseline, adding in your calories to get your maintenance calories, and then subtracting out what you're going to be burning to get like your target. So of course, like you want like, and that is, I don't want to say this in English. I like that the best because I feel with 2B Mindset, it's great in the sense that it's visual and it's very easy to follow, but in the sense that like it's not giving, it takes some tweaking. I guess that's what I'm trying to get here. It takes tweaking. So like when you start 2B Mindset, it takes a little bit of like tweaking to sometimes, depending on how your eating habits were before, but to like get you to where you're not like hungry or seeing results that you want to see, because you have to kind of tweak it to fit what type of exercise you're doing and like what your results are. So if you're trying to build muscle, you're going to want to add in some more protein. If you want to just slim down, you're maybe have to take away some things. You may need to add in some carbs. So it's not complex. I don't mean it to sound that way. Just 2B Mindset could take a little more tweaking, whereas with the container system, each one of the programs are built to look at what you weigh now and figure out what, and it already has it kind of like mapped out for you in a sense that like they know you need to take in this many more calories, so that 400, because you're going to be burning around like 750. Like, so it knows like how they have this wonderful big science figured out, like based on your weight, this is how much you're going to need to eat in order to like see the results you need without starving yourself or like anything like that. So it's kind of like, I know making it sound complicated, but it's not. It's just the container system, they're doing it based off of more numbers, whereas 2B Mindset's kind of just like, here's the dialogue that you follow, and then you'll need to tweak it. Because I did notice with the container system, I didn't really have to tweak a whole lot. So once you do that, you get like your target weight or your target calorie, and then it's going to throw you into one of these plans, either A, B, C, or D. So then that tells you, like then it tells you then how many veggies you need to eat, how many fruits, servings of fruit a day, servings of protein, carbs, healthy fats, your seeds and salad dressing, and then any oils or nut butters. So through this, if you think back to remembering 2B Mindset, there's no category for accessories, right? There's no calories for accessories on here. So your accessories are your oils and your salad dressing and seeds. And that's it. So if you're following in plan A, you get one orange container that you can decide if you want this to be oils, or if you want this to be a salad dressing, or if you want this to be some form of like seeds or or seeds. I guess that's it. Salad dressing or seeds. So then you get, I'll just take plan A here too. So then you get, I'm sorry, I should maybe start at the bottom here with the oils and the nut butter. So like you could have, 1 teaspoon would have went towards maybe cooking your eggs in the morning, and you wanted to put some oil in there so it didn't stick. Well, there went your teaspoon for that. And then if you had toast on the side and you put some almond butter or peanut butter on it, then there went your other teaspoon. But now you just tapped into one of your carbs. So like, you see how it kind of like adds into like based on whatever you're eating, depends on you're eating up these numbers that are on this screen. So that's kind of like, that's how the container system works. So everything you eat falls into one of these guys. I'm trying to knock them over. Or these guys. And then that's what you eat for the day. So it's kind of more like, it's more, I don't want to say more structured, but there's no room for oopsies, I guess, in a sense. Like with 2B Mindset, you can kind of, it's based off the pictures, which for me is really easy to follow, but your accessories are kind of more of a free-for-all with 2B, where with a container system, it's very rigid, and this is what you get, and that's that. Once it's gone, it's gone. Where with 2B Mindset, if she always says in there, if you're hungry, eat more veggies. She doesn't care, eat more veggies. Whereas with a container system, they're like, once they're gone, they're gone. It's gone forever. I don't think there's anything. Okay, so here, good. I was hoping this is something that it showed us here. So like this is just an example, and this is following plan A, so the 1,200 to 1,500 calorie range. And this is what a day and that would look like in terms of like eating up the containers. So the total containers at the bottom is verbatim what was up top. So then they're showing you that like for breakfast, I mean, I know you guys can read, but they're going to have like the apple slices, which is going to count as a fruit. Hard-boiled eggs is a protein. Cooked oatmeal, carb. So like you can see through here, then like the snacks in the morning. Lunch then, which whoever made this, of course, they use the dressing that comes out of the cookbook in here. But like you can see literally here how it's like eating up all of your numbers for the day. So it's really not, it's not complex. And I actually have a note that I want to make like how I have, if you guys have noticed under 2B Mindset, I have the Excel spreadsheet built out for you to like figure out your meals. I'm going to do the same for the container system as well, following the same exact, like it's going to look exactly like this. And then it'll factor in as you put in your foods in that order, like in the categories. So eat up your numbers at the bottom, so then you know where you are. So you can kind of see how like a day with this is really, really rigid. I don't think, of course, they always talk about your tracking. Okay, that was it, yeah. So that is that. I wanted to go back to, so this is where I always push everybody, which regarding of what meal plan you're following, to Fixate, which everybody has. It's under the nutrition tab. Fixate here, which is a cookbook that Autumn Calabrese did, but all of these recipes in there, and then like everything too that I've been sharing to our team page, is all, they're all like Beachbody approved. So my point is like they're all gonna fall within what you're trying to achieve, just within like moderation. So like it kind of does depend a little bit on like what meal plan you're following, but I mean, you can look at them and tell for the most part like what's in them. So like you know then like where they fall within, like if you're following 2B Mindset, you know where it falls within your dinner there with the veggies and the protein. which if some of you are adding in an extra carb at dinner, my husband is. So that's fine too, and you know how to tweak that. And then if you're following the container system, again, just paying attention to what's in there. But I try to share all my recipes that are already approved, so it's not, you're not trying to do any like guessing or figuring out like what you need. Like, am I eating where I'm supposed to be? If I eat this, is it going to sabotage my dinner? What is this thing doing? I wish you would tell me if it was thinking. Hello. I said no technical difficulties today. Didn't I, Kristen, before we started? No technical difficulties. Oh. It's thinking, it's spinning. Some of the stuff I do try to have pulled up, but it doesn't stay. Okay, so let me just pick a recipe here just to show you what I'm talking about. So, okay, so like here's breakfast. Now, like, you know, this has 80-day obsession up here, but it must have been what she created for that program, but it doesn't matter. Up at the top, they have like what the servings equate to. So this would be, if you would eat one of these muffins, it's going to equate to 1 fruit. And then, is that a blue? It looks like that's a blue. So then like 1 healthy fat. And then if you're following To Be Mindset, you know that that is going to be one of your FFCs, because fruits and carbs fall within the FFC bracket. And then a healthy fat is the same as an FFC. So I'm guessing it'd probably be good if I also made a chart showing like what these containers equate to with 2B as well, because they kind of fall within different brackets of one another. What about if there's any in here for like dinner or something like that has a little more to them than just 2 containers. Oh, here we go. There's some reds and some yellows. So breakfast squash. So she has some healthy carbs in there, which is from the steel cut oats. And then she's having some protein in there. Where's that that's coming from our sausage. And then she's having, what we got in there too? Of course, the squash, and that's it, just the squash will be falling into our veggies. So there you're eating up these 3 containers. So I'm hoping that kind of makes sense to what I'm trying to get across is that just because they're containers, you can make meals from them. It's just understanding what you're putting into your meals and then what they equate to with containers. Whereas with the To Be Mindset, it's more, does it fall in the realm of a veggie, a protein, or an FFC? So you only have those, am I getting all them? Yeah, you only have those 3 categories that you have to worry about, because FFC encompasses all your fruits and your vegetables, or all your fruits and your carbs, and then veggies and protein. So it's just 3 things you have to like gauge instead of how many containers do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 containers. So kind of makes, if that makes sense. Oh, I did want to show you, I know I'm jumping around here, but I did want to show you the difference in the food listings too, because this is a kind of like a, not want to say a big one for me, but To Be Mindset food listing is different than a container system listing. Like To Be Mindset's just kind of a list of everything that is approved in no order whatsoever, whereas with they're leaving it more up to you than what you want to eat, whereas the container system, they're actually in a specific order. So they have everything in here, you know, listed as what's a vegetable, fruit, and a protein, etc. But at the ones at the top of the list, like the first one at the top of every single list, are your ones that have the most nutritional value out of anything in that list. So yeah, this is a larger list of, approved foods, but those that are at the top are more nutritious for you versus something at the bottom. So kale is going to be better for you than eating a cucumber. That's down here at the bottom. Or some cabbage. Nutrition-wise, they're still all good for you, but as far as nutritional value, the ones at the top are better for you than the ones that are at the bottom of the list. So I kind of like that better than 2B Mindset, where it's just kind of a big old list of foods for you to pick from. So it's kind of like a free for all in a way. So yeah, I mean, making the meals and stuff isn't really that complicated, especially with like how things are geared with like the Fixate cookbook. And then even if you look on Pinterest for recipes there, even if you just Google recipes online that follow the container system, you will find recipes that will fit this and then break out what is actually in them. As far as like if it's how many veggies are in it, how many healthy fats, blues are in it and stuff like that. Sorry. I don't know if you guys could hear them screaming, but they were screaming over in their bedroom, and I can hear it on the monitor. Sorry about that. So, I mean, that's really the container system in a nutshell. It's just taking your beginning weight and then figuring out what target range you fall in, and then using that number of containers for each and making your meals based off of that. So for me, and guys, feel free to chime in too, but just for me, as I was like trying to figure out pros and cons between the two, like 2B Mindset, to me, I'm a visual person. So like actually seeing what my plate should look like kind of helps me more. I don't have to worry about trying to like count anything or figure anything out as far as like how many oranges I can have or yellows or anything like that. To me, 2B Mindset pushes more of your water because she wants you to have 16 ounces in before each meal. So like, from the time you wake up till you have breakfast, 16 ounces. From the time you, are finished with breakfast till you eat lunch, like have another 16 ounces in. So she's trying to push you more to get your water in for the day. And of course, all 2B Mindset, or 2B Mindset works with each Beachbody workout. Just again, you may have to tailor depending on if you're doing like a heavy lifting program or something like that, or whatever your goals are, you may need to tailor it a little bit. Which of course I'm here to help you guys with that. If you find that like you're hungry or you're not hitting milestones that you think you should be, we can definitely sit down and look at your meal plans and things like that, which again is why I push for meal plans, because we got to know what you're eating in order to, help you out. Oh my gosh. Okay. So cons for me was that the food listing was weak, which what I meant by that was kind of what I kind of closed with there with the container system is it's kind of all over the place, and it lets you pick, like, here's just a list of foods. You figure out which ones are more nutritious and which ones aren't. There's no bracket, so no specific plan. It's kind of just like, well, here's what your breakfast should look like, here's what your lunch should look like, here's what your dinner should look like. And then again, you have to tweak it to fit you. And again, there's no structure or limit on those accessories that you can have. So like salad dressings, oils, sauces, or anything like that. There's no like structure on that. I don't know if this is a pro or a con. I guess it kind of goes both ways, but the tracker book that 2B Mindset has, I love the idea of if you're not hitting goals to like at least track what you're eating. It's just kind of a reality check every once in a while. Just be like, okay, what did I really eat today? Yeah, I have my meal plan, but then I squeak little stuff in here or there. 2B Mindset seems like it's definitely more like lower carb because you get those in your system in the morning and before dinner, and it's more high on veggies and protein portions. So that was just some pros and cons that I had from 2B. And then with the container system, of course, pros is I like the idea of like the bracket for my weight. So it's telling me like for my weight, this is what I should be eating. But then of course, you always are going to kind of have to tweak maybe some because, like just depending on what your goals are, like if you want to build more muscle, you may need to add some more protein or something like that. So there's going to be some tweaking still. But I like the whole bracket factor because then I know what I should be. I just like to know. That's all I have to say. I just like to know. I love the food structure because definitely when I started this, I still don't know everything that I'm talking about, but when it came to food, like I didn't know what had the most nutrients in it. So having that list that told me like everything that's closer to the top is more nutrients than the stuff at the bottom. They're all approved, but the ones at the top are better. So stick higher to the list helped me like picked other foods that I never maybe tried before, but knew that they were more nutrients in those foods that like helped you stay fuller longer, give you more energy, you know, help you fight off illnesses and stuff like that. So that knowing what's in your food, that structure helped me. And there's definitely a structure limit on your accessories. Like it tells you how much oils you can have and extra stuff. Like there's not a whole lot of room for guessing or trying to squeeze in little freebies here or there. It's very structured. Of course, a con is kind of that you have to count the containers. And then trying to figure out like how to make meals, which now they have come a long way with that. But there's not a lot of focus on your water, like hitting your water goal. And there's no way of tracking your food. So with 2B, I know tracking my food had helped me realize like what foods didn't agree with my body. So even if you'd follow the container system, I still suggest you do that. Like you kind of keep like a food diary. Like, I mean, if you're doing your meal plans every week, which you should be, you'll know what foods you're putting into your body. So then you can see like if I felt like crap this week or I felt like crap today, what did I eat yesterday? You can go back and look. It's good to see those kinds of things, regardless of what system you're following, just because it's good to know what foods make you feel good and what foods don't, and then try to eliminate the ones that don't. And then 2B mindset, and we talked about this last time. It talks about tracking when you go to the bathroom, and I don't mean number 1, I mean number 2. I mean, we all do it, so I'll say it. You guys can just hear it. You should be going every day, so it's good to track if you are or if you aren't, because you should be. And if you're not, then you're not putting nutritious food into your body to help you get rid of the junk you don't need. So yeah, that's in that. So I guess before I do any like clothing stuff, does anybody have any questions about 2B versus container system? Anything that maybe wasn't unclear? Because I mean, I know I've talked about these and have like studied them myself for a while, so I may have left stuff out or said things that didn't make sense. So if you guys have any questions about anything, you know, don't be afraid you guys can speak up now, or you can think about it more and message me later. Or if anybody's catching the recording, you can, you know, definitely message me later about it. I should probably, and I was thinking about this, because we have the sections within our Facebook page for 2B versus container system, and doing like little recording video just to go over it and in each of them again, so we don't have to try to dig back through calls or whatever, and it's just more structured to, you know, going through a container system and maybe showing what an actual plan looks like and like how to calculate it through the spreadsheet, just to make it easier for you guys. Thinking about maybe doing something like that, if it's something you'd want to do, then the structure's kind of already there. You're just taking it and using it. And then doing a little video on 2B, because I know I have the meal plans out there for 2B, but I don't have anything out there for the container system, so that's on my list of things to do. So if you guys don't have any questions about that, I think whenever I had the poll last time, I just looked before the call, and one of the things we wanted to talk about was tips and tricks for meal planning and prepping. So I think our next call will be about that. What's our dates look like here? Yeah, our next call will be about that, which will be on the 14th. 20th is Super Saturday, so Sunday I'll talk about Super Saturday. So on the 28th, I know a couple of people have told me that they want to know what type of different products are out there and like what they're used for, because I know Beachbody has a lot of things that people don't realize what they have, or like don't realize like what they're actually used for. So I thought we'd do a quick one about that. But then after that, it's going to be back to you guys. What are some things that like maybe you struggle with, or some areas that like, you know, you just like more information on like a specific topic, or things that you're trying to like overcome. Even if it's topics you've already talked about before, I certainly don't mind talking about them again, because sometimes hearing about them more than once helps. So just be thinking about that. You guys don't have to, you know, on the call, I don't have to like answer that question now, but just be thinking about that, because I'm going to be back to where I don't know what else to tell you guys. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have as far as 2B mindset and container systems go, and then what's to come within the next calls. I know over the holidays we'll have a couple Sundays where we won't have anything, just because I know people will be busy with traveling and stuff like that. So that'll happen more towards the end of like November, and then, closer around to Christmas time and New Year's too. We'll kind of maybe not have a call or so there, just to be aware of that. And then I've been juggling around some other ideas for the new year. Because again, I'm new to all this too, so I do appreciate everybody like dealing with me kind of being like a squirrel sometimes, because it happens. But I have some new ideas for some new structure for the turn of the new year. But I'm definitely trying to like flesh them out and make them kind of be perfect. So I'm not telling you about them yet. I'm just letting you know that come new year, we're going to have a little bit more structure within a few things. So just to try to make all of us better. So yeah, that's all I have. If you guys don't have any questions, I will let you go. I'm actually going to stop sharing. And technology. Tyler, I need a technology lesson. There we go. I fight with this every time, I swear. I think I'd get better, but I don't. It's awful. It's awful, awful, awful. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on. If you don't have any questions, I'll let you go about your night and talk to you next time. Tyler, I'll probably see you tomorrow. Get rest, Kristen.
Yep. Yeah, have a good
evening. Bye.